welcome to Offensive, where for the first time ever, we're going to let a Bear fan draft for the Packers, which will probably be maybe be slightly better than Goody. Maybe we'll see.
And the only reason I was able to talk these jabronis into it is because we just did a recording where they got to pick the Packers draft. They're all excited to replace Dontavian Wicks. And by the end of it, they said, let's trash this episode. Oh, my God, this is terrible. Let's start all over.
I hated it because we took a wide receiver in the third round.
Well, we did get a handicap because we didn't have the extra 5th round pick from Devontae Wicks. So, what I mean?
That's true.
The Bears didn't get that 3rd round compensatory pick anyways. And
you never deserved it, you cheating bastards. So, okay, let's go. All right, so Chiefs going to draft for the Packers here. I've already traded for the Eagles' 5th round pick on the back end, so we have it this time. We actually did it right this time. And I brought up some of the guys that I think are possible. So, Dave, what do you think the Packers do here if the board falls this way? What positions do you want to see, I guess, right now?
For me, I really just want to fix that defensive line anytime you're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4. I know that you've signed some guys, brought in some guys, Hargrave and whatnot to help solidify, to provide some depth. I still think you just need to get one starter up there, and to get a substantial 3-4 D lineman, it's something that you have to get in the 2nd or the 3rd round. I don't think you can really wait until the 4th or 5th, simply because it does take a year or two to build up your strength and whatnot to have any sort of an impact. If you try to reach for somebody in the 4th or 5th that can have an impact, as a nose tackle, that's not going to happen until year 3 or year 4. So they're almost done with their rookie contract.
All right.
So
I like your
that's why I think if you're going to do a 3-4, you got to try to pick up somebody either 2nd or 3rd round is my philosophy. So why don't we bring up? Yeah, there we go. Just those guys.
Yep. Edges and interior defensive linemen. So this is pretty much what you got right here. You've got Big Citrus, Romello Height, who we took in ours, Danny Dennis Sutton, who's kind of, again, a 3-4 edge, which Van Ness kind of already
Jackson,
does.
who's kind of a bigger guy. Derek Moore.
Yep.
You've already had the experience of having an outside Michigan man, but let's just click on Moore one more time just to kind of see.
Okay. So he's got good pass rush grade, definitely a good pass rush grade, really, right? But he's
6'3", 260, so he'd kind of be an undersized edge guy right here, though, for a 3-4. That's where it gets to be.
Yeah.
You've already had that guy in your team. Fortunately, you were able to get a high draft pick from the Cowboys from him. But I do think Derek Moore actually would be better than what Green Bay previously had. But that's why you just wanted to pay him a little bit of lip service. Danny Dennis Sutton, he's, similar physique where he's just too small to be what you want on that defensive line.
Right.
If you kind of already have Luke Van Ness, or you don't want to have two Van Nesses rushing on the same size. I just think that's counterintuitive. And this is where I don't mind everyone saying, this draft, all of the elite stuff is in the top 12, which usually happens. And then after that is kind of, anywhere in the range, of like within 20 or 30, they're going to kind of be the same guy. So who cares if somebody says you're reaching? You want to go out, you want to get your guy, especially if you're going to the scheme you want. That's why I say you just go out and you get the Big Citrus.
Yeah. Now, we took him originally in our very first Packers mock draft, and I'm actually really happy with it because he is a true nose tackle, 6'4", 325. When you're a nose tackle, I don't need him to do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't need him to get a bunch of sacks. I just need him to plug holes. I mean, look, he was in that A-gap, 412 snaps last year. I mean, that's kind of where you want your guys. So I agree. Big Citrus, I think, is a good spot right here.
Yeah, because he's going to let your linebackers shine, because that's really the job of a nose tackle, right? You have smart linebackers, but they're learning how to play in a 3-4 too, because they've been really great in the 4-3.
Yeah, I agree.
So he helps to get them just that extra step that they need so they can come downhill and just devastate.
So this time, Dave, I'm starting with edge and cornerback. Do you think in the second round that works for the Packers? Go look to see what edge options are, cornerback options there. Devin Moore's there, Dave, who we really like.
Well, I took him last time, I think.
Yeah,
I think I talked him into taking him for you guys, right?
You did talk us into taking him, and I actually really like him. Now, the Packers haven't brought him in yet for a visit, but he's a bigger guy, 6'3", 198, with really good strength and speed, decent zone coverage grade. He played 268 coverage snaps last year, allowed 17 receptions on 30 targets. That's pretty good. A passer rating of 70. Like in the SEC, I think that's pretty good. And you can see against the good teams, Miami, who's in the national championship game, right? Texas was in the playoffs. Georgia was in the playoffs. Tennessee and Ole Miss weren't bad last year, and he didn't really have any bad games. He was actually really good against Texas and Georgia. So yeah, he had a good season. I think he had a
and a big part of my philosophy for the Packers here is, I do agree that, when he gave up Wicks, you have some depth with wide receivers, but I still think, you want to get one more wide receiver. And I do think you still want to get one more tight end. Those are pretty deep positions in this draft. In the second and third round, I want somebody that I'm going to give a second contract to. And then you can kind of take a flyer on some of that later depth for the tight end and wide receiver. So that's why I'd rather go Devin Moore, just from the build and everything else. He can be a true outside cornerback. We did it last week, but I just really believe in the pick. I hate, him and Han and whatnot.
He's good in the flats of baiting quarterbacks to throw out there, and then he uses his height and he jumps back and picks the ball off.
Yep. All right, so I like it. That's what we did last week. So Dave's sticking to the guns, but those are good picks.
He's copying us because we're smart.
No, he was part of the decision process last time. He did talk us into more. So now we're on the fourth. Where do you want to go here, Dave?
Here I'm kind of curious to look at either. They had the edge rushers right there between Sapp.
Yep. Mason Meager. Yep. Tucker, Max Llewellyn, Caden Curry's there. I don't know much about Quintavious Hutchins. Is he like a traditional? He's 6'3", 240, so he'd be more of a 3-4 outside linebacker guy. Decent pass rush grade. I haven't really watched much on him, if I'm being honest.
No, how big is Sapp?
A lot of people mocked Mason Reiger to the Packers that I've seen.
I could see it.
So he had an off year, but he's 274, so that's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's got scheme
rotational run
versatility.
defender.
Yeah, scheme versatility, which could be good, right? At 274, he could play in, he can play out.
And that's where when you're at this point, you don't mind having a rotation with Luke Van Ness, right?
It says
so
that
this guy could potentially play
rush,
first and second down, and then he could bring in Van Ness for the pass rush.
Yeah.
And this guy had just because of this guy's size. And he had a great year 2 years ago.
I was going to say, he was mocked at the beginning of 2025, like before the NFL season. I saw him in mock drafts, like in the first and second round, because he was so good last year with the 8 sacks. Now, he definitely had a step back. Who knows why? He had the same amount of hurries, but just less sacks. He had a few less pass rush snaps than the year before. A little more run defensive snaps, but yeah, he's basically over the tackle or outside of the tackle pretty much every time. It's just his pass rush grade at 59.4 is a little bit.
His win rate's really bad. 8%. Really
that's
bad.
pretty bad.
It says in the description he only wins on effort. Basically, that means he's just pushing guys back, but you can't do that in the NFL. It's not going to work.
But for a rotational piece, so in this round, I don't mind having a rotational guy.
Yeah, but
now. I was going to say, now there's still some wide receivers out there. Do you think the Packers could go wide receiver in the fourth? Because that's fourth and fifth is kind of our jam. There isn't really many guys I see here that the Packers have brought in yet or fit the Packers. Aaron Anderson, they definitely not take. Okay, shout out here.
Let's look at Jacoby. Where was he? Yeah, about 136.
Jacoby Lane.
With him, you'd want to take him now.
Big guy, 6'4", 200. Yep.
Yeah, he's the big body guy. He's big, long. He's not super strong, but he can block when he uses his legs. Yep. He was a locker room guy on Dane Brugler's The Beast. He had a lot of things that you really like. I think, you want a big body guy who can get in the way. I really think that this is a good spot for somebody like Jacoby Lane. I think he can get some production. He doesn't need to be your all-star right away.
No, he can take his time. He's got a good grade versus man coverage, I would say, for this round. His yards per route run isn't bad at 2.42. Drop rate's a little high at 7.5, but that's very Packersy.
Right?
That's very Packersy. And they're like, oh, we don't care if he drops the ball as long as he's fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he was the 247 40.
Yeah, and he has a
6'4", 200, 10.5-inch mitts. He has an 80-inch wingspan.
Yeah, and he has a 9.4 basically RAS, which we know the Packers are all about.
He's got half of his touchdowns were in the red zone, so I think that'd be awesome because you really only have one tall wide receiver right now.
Yep,
he's a different skill set than Golden. What's that?
We got Savion Williams, who's 6'5", and Christian Watson, who's 6'4". So we got two tall wide receivers. But I just want to throw a running back out there in case there's anyone that we thought might be possible for the Packers to take. I think Nicholas Singleton's a possibility. I think Jaden.
You don't like the Nebraska boy?
I don't like the Nebraska boy.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I like Jaden Ott, though. 5'11", 208. He played at Cal. He transferred to Oklahoma. He had, a decent year last year, a decent year this year. He did get hurt, so he only played in 7 games. I think he's got a lot more potential than he's actually been used for because he's been hurt the last couple of years. You can see as a freshman, he had 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, and then
that yards per attempt, going down
bad
every year is kind of
pretty bad. I know,
because you can say that you had injury and whatnot, but you didn't want to see the yards per attempt to go down, go down that much by 2 yards.
Yeah, he was not doing really great at Oklahoma even before he got hurt. If you look at these games,
right?
So I don't know if he's coming off a major injury, but he's definitely kind of fallen off, and he wasn't the main back for them last year. But I do think he's talented. I think that might be a little high for him. Now, here's somebody that I think is overlooked a lot: Kaytron Allen from Penn State. He's 5'11", 219. He's not super athletic, but he's very good at short yardage. He's got a gap grade of 90.3, a rush grade of 91.3. He had 15 touchdowns last year for Penn State.
He's a pretty good receiver out of the backfield,
and
I think, too.
Yeah, he's a decent receiver. Not a great one, but he's a decent receiver out of the backfield. He kind of fits that power back mold that if Josh Jacobs is hurt, Kaytron Allen is kind of a beast. He's actually pretty good at running up the gaps. And look, he was really high before, and he's kind of gone down after this year. Because, he was sharing with Singleton, right? He was sharing snaps and rushes with Singleton. But, 6.2 yards a carry in the Big Ten is nothing to shake your head at. 15 touchdowes, 68 receiving yards.
I think the other thing that hurt is their quarterback sucked a big fat one.
That's a big part of it.
He really limited their offense. He got their head coach fired and whatnot. Because before the season, Allen, he was getting some looks and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I don't mind getting somebody who's like Josh Jacobs is fill-in, because Jacobs is 28 years old. His physical style, might start to it kind of showed a little bit last year. He's still manned up and whatnot, but I think that's a smart pick right here.
Yeah. I really like Kaytron Allen. Now that they might not go right away, but here's another guy I like, Levon Moss, 5'11", 210. His injury history has pushed him back, but he's my favorite kind of size. I like running backs that are under 6 feet and over 205. I think that's the right place to be. Like 5'11", 215 is like the best. Like that's kind of where Saquon is almost. So he's got not quite of a good rushing grade, but 5.2 yards a carry on 77 attempts. He only played in 7 games. Again, he's more of a power back. 6 TDs this year, 10 TDs last year. So again, these guys aren't necessarily guys that are going to take over the role from Jacobs, but if they want to be a power rushing team, which Doug has confirmed that they're just going to draft a 600-pound offensive lineman and be a power rushing team, they kind of fit that mold. These two guys fit that mold.
Singleton, did you see Singleton's elusiveness ratings like 102?
Yes, Singleton's elusiveness rating is 47.
Wait, no, not him. The other guy. Sorry, the other Penn State.
You're saying Kaytron Allen. Yeah, 102.6. Yeah.
And he's going to be there. He could be there in the next round.
I think he'll be there in the next round. There's a lot of running backs.
Yeah, I like that. I like Kaytron Allen.
This is something where if he's your target and you're afraid of him going in your Green Bay, if afraid of him going at 145, you throw in your 153 and like a 201 so you can move up for that pick. So I think that'd be feasible for Green Bay if they really liked him. So I don't think they need to take him in this round.
No, I think Jacoby Lane, like you said, Dave, is probably a better bet for them in this round. So let's go Jacoby Lane. Okay, so far Dave has picked 2 defensive guys and a wide receiver in the 4th. I like it. Very Packersy draft. Now we got our 2 5th-round picks. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look at running back, see who's still there. Hey, Kaytron's right there. But let's also take a look at interior offensive line, because there might be a center or a guard here they're considering taking. Kobe Baines is there, the guy that I like. Roberts is there. Pat Coogan is still there. DJ Campbell, who I'm not a huge fan of, is there. So there's some possibilities there. And then let's just pull up cornerback just in case somebody jumps off the board to us.
Neal's there.
Julian Neal is there. I don't really see anybody else that jumps off the board. So what do you think, Dave? Do you think these are the positions they might focus on? Running back, interior, offensive lineman, and cornerback? Maybe linebacker here? What do you think, Dave?
No, I think that you nailed it as far as what positions. And honestly, I would like to take Allen here, and
all right,
Neal should be there with the next pick possibly.
I think so. Now that we got 2 5th-round picks, let's find out if he's still there. So let's go to cornerback. Julian Neal is there. Is that what you
Yep.
think they would do?
Yep.
Double up on corner. I love it. I love it. I like this draft so
So,
much better.
so we got 2 corners that could start for a couple of years for Green
Yeah.
Bay. We got a running back. We got a wide receiver. Now
Yeah.
I try to get some.
now
Yeah,
you
try to
need
get
some more beef.
Offensive linemen. We need a
you
little more
need some
beef.
All right, let's look at the beef. Let's look at defensive and offensive interior linemen. Let's look at the beef. Okay, so Gublin's there. He's decent. He's 6'4", 312. He's a bit older. He's got a decent pass block grade, honestly, a decent run block grade. Started for 3 years at Michigan State. I think he's a good player. I don't think he has a ton of potential. I think he's a good player.
Well, he's a good, not great.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. If I'm going to take a guy in the 6th round and he makes the team as a backup, like I'm happy with that, right? So same thing with this Skylar Gil Howard guy that we talked about in the last time, 6'1", 290, that can play that outside edge, that has a really good pass rush grade, not so great at run defensive grade, but again, kind of doesn't really fit as a D tackle necessarily, would be better in a 3-4. I think this is a really good spot for him also. And I think Parker Brailsford's a good player too. Now, he doesn't have great pass blocking grades, right? He's been a starter for 3 years at Alabama, though. He's only allowed 2 sacks. He's definitely got some potential. He's 22 years old. He wins with quickness and technique. So he's a smart guy, right? Who should be playing center, but he's not going to dominate anybody, but he's a guy that could make your football team and be a decent backup. Right. So that's kind of where I see him as well. So what do you think, Dave? What do you think they want to do here?
I like Gil Howard just as a rotational piece, just to be the disruptor and whatnot, which is what you want in the 6th round.
I'll be really happy if we get him in the 6th round. I think he's got potential. I think he's definitely got potential. Okay, so let's take a look at what Dave's drafted so far. So he's got Big Citrus. We got our cornerback, wide receiver, halfback, cornerback again, and another defensive interior lineman. So no interior offensive lineman or
there's a tight end from Michigan right there.
Or tight end. Did you go to Michigan?
Did you play tight end at Michigan?
Yeah. This is a backup guy. I mean, I think he's more of a special.
He can run block.
He can run block. I don't know if we're going to, again, you can pick these guys up off the street. So I don't know if we're going to go tight end here, but we'll throw it up. Yeah. I'm sorry. Connor Tollison is there. Thomas Rimac is there, who I think is a bit underrated. He had a bad year this year, but he was pretty good last year, honestly, for Virginia Tech. He's 6'6", 317, so he's a pretty big boy playing at guard, which, the Packers like. So that's a shout there. What do you think, Dave? Do you think offensive line? Do you want to look at running back, cornerback again? What do you think here?
I'm just going to look. Let's see. Curious about that Seydou Traore.
Yeah, Traore.
23.7 from London, England.
Nice.
He's 235.
Seydou Traore. Just trying to go by the beast, see what he says. I'm just curious. So he's almost 6'4", 9.5-inch hands, 33.5-inch arms, 80-inch wingspan. Isn't terrible.
I mean, this guy's been all over the map. Look at this.
Yeah,
all over the map where people have taken him. I think he just didn't produce a lot last year. He had 35 receptions, 374 yards. Yards per route run is really low.
He's a developmental guy, so you don't need that. You want someone that can contribute, honestly.
I think so too. I think he's a developmental guy. So I think Jack Velling is more another Michigan State guy. I mean, he started for 3 years.
His run blocking is gross.
His run blocking is not good, but he's 6'5", 245. He's the right size. He's got versatility as far as route tree. As far as I can tell, he's a decent tight end. His yards per route run is 1.2. It's a little bit better, still under the average, but his drop rate's not too bad. His contested catch rate's pretty decent. I think he's a shout. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know. Yeah, at this point, I just try to look for the interior offensive lineman then.
Okay, I think tight end is a possibility, Dave, but I just think it's tough. So right here, I think Tollison is a shout, possibly. I don't think Pettibone or Komara would go there. I think Jaron Kump is actually a shout. Started for basically 3 years at Utah. I think he's a pretty decent run blocker. His grade's pretty low. 6'6", 315. He's a big kid. He's 28 years old. Now he's 26.2. Yeah, I don't know. Some of these older guys, it's like they are what they are.
About the
Oh,
guard from Georgia?
yeah, he went off on his mission work. And
what about Micah there from Georgia at the top?
Oh, sorry.
He's
Oh,
the top
Micah
guy.
Morris. Yeah, the guard. Yeah, so not bad overall.
He can pass
40-year
block.
starter. Pass block grade's pretty good. He's 6'4", 330. So again, another pretty big kid, but 22 years old, going to be 23.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, Micah Morris.
That's a Packers get type of guard.
Yeah, that's a possibility. All right, and finally, do we go quarterback? Do we go tight end? Do we get?
Now I finally get my tight end. Damn it!
Okay, we're gonna do tight end. Dave wants to.
No, we're gonna go with the USC offense.
Wait, Lake McCree.
We already got a wide receiver. Let's go, Lake McCree.
All right, we're gonna do it. I don't know
He was
much
a 50
about it.
last year, so he's gonna be
Okay. So here's Dave's Packers draft. This is Dave's draft, which I like way
I
better.
started
than our
off the
draft.
CAC.
Yeah. And you can see I forced the trade with the Eagles just to kind of fix
Yep.
the pick, so he had the right pick. But so we get Big Citrus, Devin Moore, just like our original Packers one. We pick up a wide receiver now in the 4th. We get a running back in Katron Allen, Julian Neal, another cornerback, so double up, which I love. Gil Howard, Micah Morris,
And then you get some
right
depth pieces that you figure it should be around for 3-4 years.
Yeah. No, I like this so much more than the draft we just did, if I'm being honest, because we went defense first, which is really what I want to do in this draft, but I don't want to go edge right away. I know we're changing to a 3-4, but I just don't know if taking a guy, again, we keep spending all this draft capital on pass rushers. And we drafted Rashawn. We drafted.
The problem was,
Van
though, we never drafted someone good at pass rushing. It was always
Right,
projects.
which is why we traded 2 first-round picks for Micah, who is good at pass rushing.
That's what I'm saying. If you actually draft a guy who's good at pass rushing, then it's okay to draft him.
Every team wants to be good at that, Doug, and they're not. And the Packers are maybe the worst at it. We are not good at drafting pass rushers. Maybe we should just lean into.
Well, they've always
understanding
they kept drafting guys that were not rated as good pass rushers. Like if
I know.
they were not good in college at pass rushing. I'm
that.
sorry.
No, they were
weren't.
not, and they
None
thought
of
they
them
could
were.
fix them. They're like, "Oh, we'll just
Have you
teach them how to
looked
do
at the
moves."
Bears drafts over the last 2 decades?
Yeah,
Leonard Floyd was our most effective pass rusher that we drafted, and he was really only an outside linebacker.
Yep.
He's had a nice career. He's still in the league, but he's never really the disruptor edge or anything. He was more of the outside linebacker type.
yeah, and I think Leonard Floyd was. I mean, he's a pretty decent pass rusher, but again, it's so hard to find these guys, especially outside of the top 15. We've had 2 top 15 picks on pass rush, and we failed miserably. If I'm being honest, we failed miserably. And I'm not saying Rashawn Gary wasn't a good player, but when you draft a top 15 pass rusher, you expect him to be a little bit
Right.
better than what Rashawn Gary was. And Luke Van Ness hasn't done anything really.
Both of them had zero
So-
pass rush moves coming out of college. They were
That's
just
what
kinda
I'm
like
saying.
mean, big, strong.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, maybe with Gannon, talking into LaFleur's ear, telling him the kind of guys he wants, because Gannon's defense relies so heavily on 4 guys rushing.
That's why I'm
that you
saying
do
you
need
have
a
to be able
pass
to get
rush.
home at 4.
Right, which is why, though, my hope is that after the draft, we go and sign 2 or 3 veteran edge players to play with us, and maybe they make the team, maybe they don't, because they can contribute this year. And we see what Van Ness can do, and we see what Sorrell can do. And even if Micah misses 2 or 3 games, we don't waste high draft capital on that position. We fill positions that need high draft capital, like cornerback, like interior
Right.
defensive line. So that's my hope. That's why I didn't like our draft. Even though if we get Romello Height, I'll be fine with it. I will be fine with it.
But the Packers could also pick up like Reed, the D tackle from the Lions, who's a free agent now,
Right.
to play
Yep.
nose tackle, and then
Yep.
they draft an edge rusher that actually has like pass rush skills, have them really cheap for like 3 or 4 years, right, and not pay him barely anything.
True.
Maybe get him a second, third round, whatever. So like, because like you said, Gannon's defense relies on zone and 4 guys getting pressure really fast. And if Micah's not playing, if he's hurt, they probably will put him on a snap count this year, especially because he's been hurt. And last year they kind of
least
thought
to
that they
start.
played him too much.
Yeah.
So like, they need someone else on the field that can actually make an impact.
I agree. I just don't know if you're going to find that in the second or third round this year. I think you're going to
I think we
find.
did in our draft earlier. I think we could.
Okay. All right. Well, you can agree, but I'm going to vote for Dave's draft, even though I drafted my own Packer draft.
Well,
Now,
your
we'll
draft
do it.
was better because you also had an extra pick.
Yeah, you did have an
what I mean?
extra pick, which
That
throws
didn't
us
make
off.
any difference. Your first 3 picks were
Amazing.
I mean, we did go edge wide receiver, which would make me want to.
You did go developmental wide receiver with your second pick.
Yeah, I know. We just couldn't make up our mind. So, all right. But you know what's really going to happen is we need to do a chaos wheel, I think, for the Packers and the Bears now. Because we did one for the first round. And I think we have to do a chaos wheel for the Packers and the Bears because it just might be chaos, and we'll have to put in like RAS score between this and this, or like, you know, we can do positions or something like that, or has to be a top 30 visit or something like that. So we'll make
that sounds like fun.
We'll make a fun wheel out of it.
Well, that's part of the reason I think I want to draft an edge in a draft before, because like what would happen if you draft an edge first? Do you get the players you want later or not? Right. You know what I mean? That's the question. It's like, who's going to drop, and are you going to have that available to you? Is it going to be a disaster? And you guys didn't like it, and I kind of liked it sort of, but like it, you know, we'll see. Yeah, I get it. All right, well, good job, Dave. Way to draft for the Packers. Me and Doug will draft for the Bears too at some point and take 5 tight ends. I know Dave just loves his tight ends. You can't help it. He's a Bears fan. But thanks for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Offensive. So thank you again.